Oh my goodness, we are live. Hello, welcome to From This Point Forward. I'm Chris Plumer along with Ryan Mura. Hey
What's up?
Ryan, how's it going? Oh man, it feels so nice in this room right now. This is the perfect amount of space in this showroom right now, don't you think?
Yeah, not too crowded. Just us tonight. We can
Just a
say all the
couple of
things we want
boys.
about Louie without him knowing, 'cause he definitely won't listen
We'll
to this.
never know. No, he will not. He's allegedly on the plane and going to try to call in, even though they strictly say do not make streaming calls on your flight, no matter what kind of internet package you pay for. Lou went to try and get Brian Rust to come on the podcast. That's where he's been. He won't make it in. But we've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to get right into this. Let's let the intro play.
Let's acknowledge the fact that in one of your favorite movies of all time, you thought the slogan was "Ducks quack forever" instead of "Ducks fly together."
No,
it's
you also
bad.
think they live in wells. It's the whole theme of the movie, Lou. But he had the duck call.
They go quack.
It would be Malcolm Subban, mostly because that one season where instead of letting him play for the Sabres for the last game of the year, they had him sing the national anthem. And it was a real, like, you're under contract, the season is over. We know you've only gotten to be up here a couple of times. How about you come back up here? Oh, great, I'll put my pads in the car. No. You won't need them. Just make sure you warm up the pipes when you're driving down the 90.
Mitch Marner.
You heard it, Mitch. If you want to sign here, you can drill Ryan's mom. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to From This Point Forward, all the Sabres pointers out there. We're doing it here without Louie. It's been a great 2 weeks since our last episode. I think that's where we should start off. Let's talk about the standings here. In the last 21 games, 22 games, 18-3-1. It's still tight in the East, especially in the Atlantic, but the Sabres are now officially holding a top 3 space in the division, holding on to a playoff spot. How you feeling, Ryan?
Well, if you had told me before the season that every time we would come on, every 2 weeks, we would just be talking about how good the team was doing, I would tell you you're nuts. I mean, this is such a pleasant surprise. It feels very sustainable. That's what I think I remember discussing last time we were, we had the show, is how sustainable it felt, repeatable, and it's bearing out again. We're getting production from the secondary scoring is there. You're getting the consistent defensive performances. You're getting the goaltending. Yes, it's in a rotation, but that's what you should be doing with these guys. So it's all clicking right now. You can just see the confidence in the team and the expectation, right? That, in difficult games that they can come back, or if they go, get off to a slow start, that they're going to be able to bury some in a short period of time. So guys like Benson stepping up, now with offensive production and that amazing dish in front of the net to Thompson. So yeah, I'm just so excited for every game now. It's like you're checking the calendar. You're like, all right, when's it next? Like, when are we going to get a homestand here? I'm so excited for the team.
Yeah, it's the win streak was great, got them back in the mix, and I think all of us were kind of like, yeah, but they've done this before, they've been close to this before. But even during that streak, they were winning in different ways, and it felt different from the other times that they put a hot little run together during the drought years. And even this last, since the win streak ended, even the last 12 games, they're still putting up an incredible record, and they're still finding those different ways to win again. I think the last couple of games before the Islanders game, I think everybody was starting to get a little nervous with some of those second period collapses. But it never felt, it didn't feel like same old Sabres, even though that was the kind of thing that they've done for the past 3-4 years consistently, of just like, yeah, they might get a little bit of a lead, but then they start making the mental errors. They've been able to tighten things up. I think Lindy's done a good job managing the team when they get in those situations this year. And it just feels good. It feels good to see him in that number 3 spot, within striking distance of even the number 1 spot,
Yeah, just quickly to give a nod to Lindy Ruff here. I don't want that to get lost in the shuffle. So, we had gone through some dark days with coaching, right? I mean, the Ron Ralston teams, I know I always refer to those teams because I went to a lot of those games back in, I think it was 2011 or 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
And man, like those teams were just not prepared to play. I know that the roster was designed to really be thinned out at that point, but man, the effort was never there. And you see every night there's never a give up. I mean, I remember, I think it was against Carolina. It was the national broadcast game, and they were talking about how it looked like a playoff game, and it really did. I mean, the speed of play, the hitting, the physicality, the edge that the players were playing with. I am extremely impressed with how intense the players have been, and how hard they've been playing. I know that seems like such a silly thing, like rah rah, like let's go, play tough, but it's so important, and you notice the difference when you haven't had that. So yeah, I mean, the chase is on, right? So the chase is on for not just a playoff spot now, but let's get as high as we can go. We're really not that far off from a top seed here. So the East feels a little bit more wide open than the West. Obviously, the West, you have, as we talked about just quickly before the show, you have those 3 teams at the top, and then kind of a bunch of contenders, maybe a few sprinkled in there, but we have a real shot here with the Sabres to make a little run here. And if they keep doing what they're doing, which is going on little 3 or 4 game win streaks without dropping, more than 2 in a row, I mean, that's a recipe for well over 100 points, and you're putting yourself in prime spot. I mean, that's crazy to think about, that this is the reality now, but really, as you're positioning into February, you're thinking about more of the top than you are the bottom.
Yeah, it feels, again, the style of play that they've had. You were talking about that Carolina game. They lost that one like 2-1, right? That was the Bussy game.
Yeah, couldn't get a goal, and few shots.
Couldn't get it, and
great chances.
Yeah, they hit like 4 posts in that game too, which is crazy because those don't count as shots on.
Right.
I don't understand stat keeping anymore, but I think if there's one criticism you can give the team right now, it's some nights they're generating offense, but not the shots. Like offensive possession, they're pinning them down in there. I guess you want to see them pepper a few more in here and there, but also when they're winning a majority of the games, it's hard to really criticize the possession game that they're playing. And I think just before that Carolina game, I remember the announcer saying it felt like a playoff game, like 2 games before that, maybe 3, when they played Florida and they held on to win. But it was one of those, like, that's the kind of team you're going to face in the playoffs. Will you be able to handle that? And then a handful of games later, they're putting in a playoff style effort. It's refreshing to see.
Well, obviously there's plenty of time before playoffs start, but let's just presume that they're playing this way heading into, March and April. I mean, who would want to play the Sabres, at this rate right now? I mean, they're one of the hottest teams since, the beginning of December, right? If you want to even take a chunk of the season. And I do think there are phases to the season. There's a lot of reasons why, there might have been it's not really a slower start, but why it took a bit to really pick up. Norris's injury is still frustrating to me because I still think he's a real key piece, and it seems very ominous what's going on right now where he's not practicing. They haven't really given us an update or told us what it is. I think they've just said upper body and left it at that. So, we really could use him back. But what do you think about Norris? I mean, obviously he's a big piece, but have you considered what the messaging is on that and what you can take from it?
It's a little concerning. I did see after practice today, Lindy saying that he's moving forward. He doesn't expect him this weekend, and they're contemplating holding him until the Olympic break is over. But he's so good when he's out there. And like when he came back and he had that, like a dozen games where he just had that one game that he sat out and it seemed precautionary, and he came back and was looking good again. And I thought maybe we were turning the corner with him, to the point where it was like, if he stays on the ice, we might not need that top 6 guy that we were looking for with the way other people have been stepping up over the past month and a half. And now it puts a lot of questions on the table moving forward. I think getting to the Olympic break is going to be key for this team. Just the way they're stepping in front of shots. I mean, how many guys, Bryson, shot injury, Dahlin, everybody was worried about because he sat out that practice. A little time to recoup and see where everybody's at. I think that downtime will really help them in the push to the end of the season here. But I just want Josh Norris to be okay. I feel great about him when he's on the ice, but I mean, I think he's only played 19 games this season.
Yeah, as far as turning a corner, I just wonder if he's the type of player that we're always going to have this, limited ceiling because of the recurring injury. So I'd love to say it's just a string of bad luck, but when it's been as consistent as he's had in the past with just something, it seems like, I mean, obviously going back to his Ottawa Senators days, so it was perhaps one of the reasons they're willing to deal him. But I hope he can recover. I hope he can put these things behind him. Let's, I guess, fire the strength and conditioning coach. Damn it, let's put the blame on somebody else other than our poor Josh Norris. Let's. Peyton Krebs is probably at fault. That guy is the reason. Is the reason Josh Norris is hurt.
He's putting tacks in his shoes in the locker room to make him hurt his heel. He's a scam.
Is that what it is? A heel?
I don't even remember what it was with Norris. I think it wasn't it like a cross check to the ribs?
Okay. I just got flashbacks when you talked about a heel injury. It was like when the Bills signed Kevin Cobb and then he got injured walking out to the practice field because he tripped on a mat.
Yeah,
that's great. He's
got another concussion
of the Sabres. There you go.
Yeah. All righty, let's change gears a little bit. A little bit of good news, and it seems like everybody on the team thinks this is good news. Josh Doan extension. about it. Actually, I was looking at some of the projections on what his contract offer could have been. It looks like we got a little bit of a deal if the numbers hold up, and he's never looked bad during a game. There are nights where he doesn't show up on the score sheet, but there's never a night where it looks like he's dogging it out there. And the locker room seems to love that he got extended. How you feeling about Doan?
Well, as someone who went to the Sabre store and checked out a couple Doan jerseys after the reunion night, I am all for it. I feel like now, I mean, that only gives me the confidence to just go ahead and buy the jersey. He's here for 7 years now, but he was the first of many tests I think that Jarmo Kekalainen has coming up here. So first, Doan is you said it. He may not always produce on a point basis, but he is affecting the game in so many ways out there positively. In the neutral zone, the way that he's able to I'm thinking of the play where he strips the puck and he makes the pass up to the wing where he sets up that goal, I think on a secondary assist. So he's all over the ice. He plays the kind of game that you need. I mean the full two-way game, and I mean to sign somebody like that, you talk about we'll get to Tuck at some point tonight, but signing a guy like Doan, I think actually sends a better message than signing Tuck. And I know that may sound counterintuitive, but Doan comes in, he does everything that he's asked of, that's asked of him. And he's young. I mean, he's 22 years old, right? So
Yeah.
22 or 24, something like that. So he's got his prime of his career coming up, and you're getting, if he hits that prime, right, you're projecting, but if he hits that prime, you are getting a discount at a little, a shade south of $7 million a year on a contract. So I think it's a great deal. I like that it expressed the confidence in him that right away it's like, listen, ever since he's been here, he's done what we've wanted him to do. He's been everything we've probably thought he was and more on that, from the Peterka deal. And so, congratulations, Jarmo. First big test, you passed it. And I love that deal for the Sabres and for Doan. I mean, obviously, 49 mil is a nice number, or more than that, actually. 56.
Yeah, I think the most exciting thing about that for me is I know we've talked about it before on the show, but like during the Kevin Adams days of like the talk of guys almost like tricking guys into wanting to be here. And this is like the first exterior organization. Yeah, he was traded here, but like expiring contract. This is the first like exterior signing to this team of somebody that like has a real future in the league. It's not like just signing a career fourth liner to come in and just like, hey, happy to have you. Here's a little bit of money. It just feels like he came in, and players were saying it after the sign. I've never seen a guy get an extension and have so many interviews with his teammates talking about how great of a signing it is. Usually that's, you just talk to the person getting signed, but it feels like, I mean, I loved Peterka when he was here. Exciting to watch play, but not a 200-foot player. He was a 30-foot player.
Right. We talked about how, I mean, I'm sure I talked about on this podcast how upset I was with that move. But right now, I would trade Peterka straight up for Doan without even Kesselring into the deal. I mean, it's an easy decision for me. And we weren't even focused on that part of the deal because at the time it looked like Kesselring was the bigger piece. So, yeah, I mean, Doan does everything that you want from that player. I also just think it's kind of funny, first move that Pegula makes with the Sabres in quite some time, and it's of course with Doan. What is it? His obsession with the Doan family, right? So when Shane Doan was a player, he apparently Pagula wanted to pay him like a ridiculous, like he was ready to he was sending the Brinks truck to Shane Doan to get him to sign in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So I guess Pagula figured he's going to get his kid, and so Shane has to come to Buffalo, and I don't know, maybe it's a. Here's the thing: why is Shane Doan not replacing Eric Stahl in the front office? That would make the most sense. Power of friendship.
Power of friendship, a little bit of a fatherly bond in the house. You can't go wrong with that either. They had Shane Doan in the booth during a game earlier this year, and like,
he's great.
Hey, bring him into the booth every once in a while. I like hearing him and Rob Ray tell old stories. Like, let's get him in here. That can only lead me to believe that Eric Stahl is squatting inside the offices at KeyBank Arena, and they just don't have room to move in Shane right now. But we'll get you, Shane. We'll get you in. We'll get you on the pod. You can stay at my place until Eric moves out. We'll have a lot of fun.
Inside Eric Stahl's office, he like painted all the walls black. It's like he totally ruined everything in there. All right, never mind.
Just ripped everything off the walls. He's not even using the heating system for the building. He's just burning stuff in the middle of the room. Just a real. Where is Eric Stahl? That's the question of the night. Still mad they didn't burn him in effigy at the 05-06 reunion night.
That would have been a fitting ending to his Sabres career.
Unless they're saving the sacrifice for the playoff push, they're going to bring him out in late March and just let Shane Doan just rifle some pucks at him during the intermission.
I think if anything, the sacrifice should be Rory Fitzpatrick. I have a lot of misdirected anger. So
Rory, NHL All-Star Rory Fitzpatrick.
No way, is he?
Didn't they wasn't he like the first player to get the when they did the fan voting to like get like a weird online, everybody tried to get him to be an all-star?
Wow, I don't remember that.
I feel like he was the first one to have that happen, and then it happened again with
John Scott.
John Scott. Yeah. But I remember that happening with Rory too. So we've got Doan locked up. What are we thinking about Tuck now?
Yeah, this is the next shoe to drop, so to speak. Here, I've been pretty consistent on my position on this. I think that this decision is the next ball knowing moment for Jarmo, and I am very firmly in the camp of you have to trade him. You cannot meet the asking price of 8 years at $10.5 million, because you are paying for at least, I would say, 5, maybe 6 years of a bad contract. And I just don't expect him to be enough of a needle mover for me to make that commitment when you have other guys who are showing promise that you're going to want to have the resources to allocate to keep them in the future. You can't just make this decision in a vacuum and say the Sabres are so good that we need to keep Alex Tuch to the end of the season no matter what. Because are we winning a Stanley Cup this year? According to that psychic that called into WGR in 2017, we are. All right. But I think if we're real, it's probably a year or two away. And I don't want to, mortgage the future, so to speak, just so you can get a very remote shot this year. Now, I love the way the team's playing, and I understand, you want to send the right message in the locker room and all of that. But here's my proposal. I'm not proposing you send Tuch for straight futures and you just sit on those picks and you try to do it the old way like we've always done, where we just wait and hug on to our prospects for way too long. That's not what I want to do. I'd move Tuch ASAP. Okay, I'd find the buyer now or in a week or two from now and flip them soon so that you can take those assets and go buy the player that you want at the deadline, because those guys do become available, and you might be able to find either one, a more cost controlled player for a longer period of time that you can sit with, you're comfortable with, a $4 or $5 million player, or you find someone who is a little bit, pricier, but they have a 1 or 2 year term, and you treat it as a rental. And so I'm fine with continuing to go for the goal of playoffs and making a run. I think you should be doing that. You should be building to get better, but you can't just look at Tuck in a vacuum and say, well, he makes us better right now, so that we have to sign him to this clearly, in my opinion, a contract that he's not going to be able to live up to. This is a Poso 2.0 for me.
Yeah, we've different kind of player, but we've gone over this type of contract before with Jeff Skinner.
Right.
And he was a little bit younger when he signed that long-term deal, and again, different kind of player, but like if you can swap a rental for a rental with Tuck, and it's not his fault. I like him on the team as a player, but also now we're kind of hitting the point of we have younger guys who are doing similar things to him. Maybe not scoring at the same pace, but the 200-foot, all aspects of the game. They can be on the power play. They can be on the penalty kill. They can be in empty net situations, out there selling out, blocking shots. You've got a handful of guys that look like they're ready to step into that role, one of whom just signed an extension, at 7 years, his junior. It just, if you can't get that price down significantly, or if you can't entice some kind of just bridge until these younger guys are a little more seasoned to take those high minutes in the high pressure situations, you got to move on. It's a business decision for sure. And I think, you don't want to mess up the locker room chemistry, but at the same time, it's been 14 years, man. I'm pretty sure everybody who's been in there for the past, especially handful of years, will understand. I don't think there would be a revolt if they moved on from Alex Tuck.
So it was, I think it was Joe Marino who put out this poll today about whether, which option you would want about Alex Tuck. And, I didn't go back and check the results of it, but, to me, the option 3 was the best route, which was to trade Tuck for, some assets and to flip them for something. He mentioned somebody like Jordan Kyrou. I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting thought. There's a lot of guys out there, in my opinion, that fit this category. Even a Panarin, I think that's a huge swing, but I might even prefer something like that as opposed to, to Tuck, because what's going to help you, get closer to the goal, right? And not be cost prohibitive in the future, because I think he's on an expiring contract, right?
Yeah. I think this is it for Panarin's deal. I think that's the kind of deal that it fills a need, because Tuck would go, you have those other guys who can do the more defensive things, but you put Panarin on power play 1 with Tage, or you have him on power play 2, running that one as the offensive threat. And I mean, it's the second criticism of this team is the power play for sure. But
and I like that you would get with Panarin, you would get a kind of an audition, right? You don't have to commit. You're not making that trade with a deal in place, but there's a familiarity and a history with Yarmo and Panarin, having brought him to Columbus. You probably, if you're making a run and everything works out, why would Panarin not want to sign here, right? He's he would get paid. It would be a big financial commitment, but I think it'd be for a shorter term, which would be a really big difference in the long run. You're not signing him to an 8-year contract. You're signing him to 3 or 4. So
yeah,
I think it's probably it would be a nice swap. What are your thoughts on Kyrou? I'm truly not familiar enough with the player. I don't see enough of him. Who's watching Blues games? So
I mean, in all honesty, they're so far down that it feels like you might be able to get Kyrou on a better deal. A solid player. I don't know. You're going to find yourself in the same situation of what are you getting this guy for? What's your plan with the roster down the road? Obviously, picking him up for a playoff push, but he would be an add to the team for sure. He would fill out that top 6 that we have been questioning with Josh Norris. There's so many things that are at play here, though, and just the Alex Tuck of it all is. I wish him well. Just not on this team after the trade deadline.
Well, just one other team that might be looking not only for some defensive play, but also some goaltending, the Edmonton Oilers. So Connor McDavid, welcome to Buffalo for Tuck, one of our 3 goalies, and name your other pieces here.
We will flip Tuck. Let's go Tuck, Costa Hellenius, Quinn, UPL. We ship them to Pittsburgh for Brian Rust. Then we trade Brian Rust, Devin Levi, Rochester resident, and Ellis to Edmonton, along with our next 45 first-round draft picks for Connor McDavid.
Listen, I would sign in blood for that right now, just including the 45 draft picks. Why not?
Also,
we're not
as
going to
we're
be
talking
on this
about
earth
all
in
these
45 years. This planet's not going to exist in 45 years, probably.
There's going to be no ice left to play hockey. It's going to be a soccer team at that point. That's something else we can talk about with these trade things. We're going a little off topic here, but at this point, who needs the number 23 overall pick? Add that to a package. Let's get creative. We have a special put a shirt on. Jesus.
No way will I put a shirt on.
Wow. This is great.
I'm in the middle of the ocean, and somehow I still have better internet than Ryan Mura. I don't know how this is happening.
Not tonight, buddy. Not tonight. On my phone.
Am I? You got a good internet?
Keep it up. Camera up.
Hi.
Louie is at an LMFAO convention.
What are we talking about? We talking about the Sabres here, or what's going on?
We were talking about you actively recruiting Brian Rust, doing the Dougie for him.
It's funny. We just started talking about Brian Rust, and you literally just joined. It's like you have a sixth sense on when we talk about him.
I cannot tell you how many times. Like, I look at Penguins box scores more than I look at Sabres box scores, because I just want to see the Rust hat trick where I can share it and be like, see, I was right.
I just can't wait with how hurt you were about how the Penguins fans treated you about Brian Rust. How hurt you're going to be when I share your topless photo from this show with them and all the comments.
Topless is not, I'm wearing a wife beater. I don't think that's politically correct anymore. I don't think I can say that, but yeah, I'm wearing a shirt, and so I'm not shirtless. I'm in the Caribbean, guys. I'm allowed to dress casually. I like your you both have different backdrops here today. What is going on? Are we upgrading backdrops without Louie, or what's going on here?
Yeah,
production has gone up without you here, Lou. It's very cold in my bare bulb basement, so I'm upstairs today.
Yes, and I went for the Windows background that just like extends into infinity, just keeps going back. I feel like
I love it. You know what yours looks like, Ryan? Is have you ever been on the Tower of Terror in in Disney? It seems like that hallway that you go down right before you drop down 37 stories. But yeah, it does. It looks like a
compliment. I don't think that was a compliment.
I feel like listen, you have a lot of space in a room that you're in. I'm in a 10 by 12 stateroom here on this cruise. So I'm jealous of you and your space. I won't take up too much of your time here because I have to go back to doing something. But I hate to brag or bring up bad things. Buffalo horrible right now. Is this another blown up winter storm, or was this one worse than last week? How is it back in Buffalo?
There was a snowstorm across the entire state, so it was not an excessive amount of snow. Just when it's snowing everywhere, it's hard for them to get the plows and get everything cleared off. But everything's good now. It's just a little chilly.
Yeah, overblown. Not that bad. I mean, there are certain areas that were worse, but I'm in the North Town, so not bad at all.
Again, I didn't get to see the Islanders game. I was traveling pretty much all that day to get here. Pretty dominant, it seems and looks like. Takeaways from that game that you can give. I mean, was Lions shutout? Lion, was it team defense? Like, what did that game look like?
It was a little of both. He came up with some great saves. They got a little lucky with the goaltender interference on the first goal, because if that guy didn't run into him, there probably would have been a wide open look at the net anyways. But finally, they got one of those to bounce their way. Once the second period started, though, Sabres really locked everything down. There wasn't a whole lot going on for the Islanders the rest of the game, which was fantastic, as the Islanders are usually the most frustrating team in the league to play for the Sabres.
Yeah, I think Chris had a good summary. I mean, first was a little bit shaky. Lion had to make some saves, but I think for most of the game, they just outclassed them. And I think that's kind of been a theme with this team, whether, they're dominating a team or not. They're going into and at least matching class against really good teams or outclassing the bad ones. And you got to take care of your business against the lower teams, the teams like the Islanders that you should be beating. You should be, regularly beating those teams. I think you're better than them.
Yeah.
I mean, we are done with trying to figure out if this is real, right? Like we're all on board that this is real, that this is happening and they're a good team, right? Like that's where we're at finally.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's hockey, so things can fall apart, and you can get bad luck, you can get bad puck luck. I mean, I feel like we've had bad puck luck for 13 years, but there are repeatable things that we've seen in the games that are just not things that are gonna just for all of a sudden just drop off, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they just are they're dominating offensive possession. They're not always winning in shots every game, but we've had this conversation so many times, but that fourth line just seems like they are always in the other team's zone, like just always. And again, I know you hate Krebs, Ryan, but he has found a fit on that line for sure. Malliston, that's that guy for sure. Like for everybody that gave shit about the second rounder trade for him, last year. I mean, he is every bit of worth it. And if you don't think a second round pick is worth a dominant fourth line player and a great penalty killer, then like, I don't know, name how many second round picks have panned out in the NHL. Like that guy, and his speed is insane. Like, I don't know how he obviously it's just got to be finishing skills, but like he's also one of the fastest players on the team, which is crazy to me. I that fourth line has been nothing but good. I wouldn't hate seeing Greenway go, die somewhere. But besides that, I'm fine with Krebs in that role. We are about to have the same conversation that we've had all year of like, when this team is healthy, who's playing? And I know that's a good problem to have. Why, Chris?
I just love that you have come in at the 35th minute of the show and speed run the first half hour of the show in 5 minutes. It's like,
I'm just summarizing.
We know you weren't watching. You didn't read the show list, the rundown.
No.
But you did bring up the next moment of topic. Happy birthday, Peyton Krebs.
Oh, it's his birthday today.
Ryan, it's his birthday today. Peyton Krebs, empty net goal merchant, yes or no?
Yes, he is. Peyton Krebs, I bet he went around, how like when it's your birthday, you get like free offers from different restaurants. I bet he went around to every free offer restaurant that was giving him something, a free drink, a free bagel, a free donut. He collected all of those things because that's all he does is he just takes the free stuff. It's gotten to a point though, where they take the goalie out of the net. I'm like, oh, they better get Peyton Krebs out there. He's lethal against the no goalie out there. He just finds the empty net like no other. I mean, that guy, he's so useless. I'm never going to come around to the fact that he's a good, it's like I watch the games. I'm just like, I watch him every time. It's just, he's not ever doing anything good. I just don't get it.
Third in the league in empty net goals, right?
Yeah. So just for you, Ryan, how many do you think he gets by the end of the season? He's got 6 total, 4 of them empty nets. How many do you think he finishes with, and how many do you think are empty nets?
All right, I'm going to call my shot here. It's how many games into the season are we? We're like halfway through.
51 played so far.
All right, so more than halfway through. And he's more than halfway through. He's getting 11 total goals this year, and 3 more of them are going to be empty nets.
Okay. Lou, any predictions?
I think he ends up with like 12 or 13 plus. I am going to say there will be goals scored not for the Buffalo Sabres. I will say I will reach out and tell Ryan. I will make Ryan happy. I'm sure you guys have talked about this, and you said I just kind of. But when I keep on racking my head around what this lineup looks like when healthy, how do you get better if they are trying to get better? I mean, they're the best team in the league for the last 2 months. So I don't know what, better looks like. But it's just like, I mean, okay, you can say Quinn, but he's been somewhat decent here through most of this hot streak. But also, what's his value? We know that the internet doesn't want to trade Ostlund. I have found that out personally. Again, now I don't think we talked about this because he wasn't up yet, but and I'm sorry if you guys have already talked about it today, but when Helena's got brought up, to me, it made sense because it was like, oh, Norris is out, so they're just replacing the center. That's why you don't bring up Rosen. But then they play him on the wing, and I was like, oh, shit, why didn't they just bring up Rosen? And now he looks great, too. And I think their their mindset there was probably, hey, we know what we got in Rosen. He's had a few opportunities at this. This is his first opportunity. We're rolling pretty hard. Let's see what this kid's got. But now it's just another piece here up front that you got to figure out a spot for. And I'm going to go back to what I said and not, I won't say it for a Brian Rust trade, but like up front, there needs to be a move for like, you got to get rid of a couple of these guys for one guy. Because I just don't see it. And when Norris is healthy, I mean, Danforth is coming back soon, guys. That's like a first liner right there. I'm having trouble figuring out which pieces move to make this team better. And if they stay stagnant with how this team is going, does Yarmo get like a little bit more leeway because his name's not Kevin Adams? Like, this whole situation is just so weird because Kevin Adams has nailed like his last 3 or 4 trades. They were spread out over whatever amount of years, but it's just like Yarmo hasn't done anything. You know what I mean? I know he traded for AHL defenseman yesterday, but I don't know. It's when I try to figure it out, I think Krebs is becoming one of the guys in Power, but I don't know if anyone's taken Power at that contract either, though.
So you think he's going to get 13 goals this year?
I'm sorry, what was the question? I will say.
How much was the all-inclusive booze package on the cruise, Lou? That's
I did not know. I didn't get it. So this is a good. So
you've been paying by the drink.
Yes, and it was the wrong decision. Here's I want it because I'll get your mindset here. I had the option beforehand, and they like offer you a discount the week before. Of $85 a day. Now that seems like a lot, right? For a drink, but I see Ryan, but I see that you're going like, and in my mindset, I was like $10 a drink max. Am I really having more than 8 drinks a day? I'm with my 4-year-old, but then you get here, you realize there's a child care center. I have my mom with me. She's a great babysitter. Then great is probably but whatever. She's a babysitter. I have found myself drinking more than the 10 drinks. So I'm definitely losing out on not having the drink package. We did have a guy I know you guys call us mush. So we had we were supposed to we went to Nassau yesterday. And then tomorrow was supposed to be the Cayman Islands. We woke up this morning, and I had a night. I was in the dance club, getting my groove on, and not with the shirt on. I was fully clothed, but and I was doing. And I wake up in the morning, and I look out the patio, and we were in Miami, which is where we ported from. And I go, wait a second, what's going on? Did I sleep for 3 days? I mean, that's legit what I felt first. There was a medical emergency that they had to bring somebody back to Miami. Now, first question for you guys, because no one's wanting to answer the tough questions around here. That person's dead, right? There's not, we were 8 hours away from Miami when they decided to go back. I mean, there's no way they were like, oh, you know what? This person needs help. Let's, like, that's not even just slow. Just the boat just slowly turning around and just, I don't know it. There's no way that person survived. So I was like, do we have to go back to Miami for you? Had to ruin everybody's time. And so there's been a lot of speculation about what's happened. Today I was talking to somebody, and there's legit someone who was unaware of what's going on about 5 hours after the announcement. And I was telling them, I go, yeah, that's why this is happening. And they were like, wait, what? We didn't hear anything. And they go, oh my God. They stopped and go, yesterday we were talking to this family, And the woman said, my mom's only got this is not funny. My mom's only got a week to live, and she's a big cruise person, and she decided this is how she wanted to spend her last week. And so we're speculating that might have been it. But also, if it was her, I'm really mad. I really want my refund because she knew what she was walking into. And now I can't go to the Cayman Islands because this bitch wanted to spend the last week of her life on a cruise. Come on. So we're going to some stupid port in a couple days. I don't even know where. They had to like call all around. I feel like wherever we end up, it's just going to be a couple like Jamaicans just trying to sell us beads on a beach. But whatever, we're making do. Have you ever been on a cruise, either of you?
I have not.
No.
You're really selling it though.
Not the best time. I was a little bit worried about motion sickness. That didn't happen. Have not had that. Like when you go on vacation, you try to like, you try to talk yourself and be able to do whatever you want. Like I told you I was on the dance floor yesterday, and the way I think is like, you're never going to see these people ever again. Just go live it up. When you're on a cruise ship, you are going to see them again, probably the next day. I mean, I was in line for breakfast, and people were just like, "Yo!" and I was like, "I don't remember you, but thank you." It's been a very awkward day, and I did some really awkward things on the dance floor. But yeah, I mean,
if you say
fun.
You danced one more time, I'm kicking you out of the room.
I danced.
We know you danced.
I know. One more thing. The Sabres never came through with doing anything special for me. I think they've heard the podcast. They're mad. And now I want to get back in so bad. I don't think I can. I can't at this point call me, you know what? I don't need anything special. Actually charge me full price. I don't know if I can do that. So Chris, I'm counting on you to get me to a couple games this year with your season ticket package, because I don't think anyone else is going to allow me to do so. I really fucked this up.
Drop the ball. Really drop the ball, Lou. So
I'm sorry. Oh, so I was like, all right, I'm done. You got anything else for me?
Such a Louie move, just coming. I was dancing and some bitch died.
I really fucked up the flow.
The biggest heart in the world, Lou. So I feel like we are having inverse conversations of what we started the season with. We have a new version of the Sabres 3 goalie problem. During this last month and a half run, UPL and Alex Lyon are top 10 goalies. Colton Ellis, as jittery as he has been at times, is still a top 20 goalie in the league in that time frame. What do they do? Do they try and make the 3 work? Do they try and trade somebody? If they do, who?
I wish I had a better understanding on the Ellis thing, because there's like been a lot of like differing reports of whether or not that they can trade him because they claimed him, how that works, what happens. I've seen differing things. I never want to see him play goalie ever again. And I was really into, seeing if he was good and, give him the shot. And I didn't like the other 2 guys. So, I've said it on this podcast. I really wanted them to run with him. Man, these last few games, Ryan, you're a goalie, just like brutal rebound control. He's flopping around, not in a Dominic Hasek way, in a very much not Dominic Hasek way. That last game we won in spite of him that he played. Lions got tied the record, right, with Gary Desjardins, I believe, the other day with how many straight wins. So
9.
I've never been big on UPL. He's played really well. I'm not, I'm not going to sit here and try to shit on it. I do think that they have to kind of make those two guys a thing. I don't know. It's just like who's got the most value too, because you got to try to. They're going to try to add somewhere, right? And that's I just keep on fighting this. Is whereas like, what are the pieces where they can actually add where we're not going to flip out on who went the other way.
I think UPL might have more value than we assume, and to me, he's still the right answer. But I'm also more comfortable with the idea of them continuing to juggle them as this is going on, because you run into when you don't have a number one option, a clear number one option. You have these other guys that you can mix in. And I think the fact that there's three of them might actually work to their benefit in this situation, because you can, ride the hot hand. There is no, pressure to be the guy. So I'm okay with three at the moment. Obviously, it's going to get tougher when guys get healthy and you can't, just use the IR move with Norris and everything else. But I'm okay with this setup right now. And then ultimately in the future, it's probably a move where, Ellis is waived and you bring up Levi and you hope you have one guy and Levi. But that's next year. For me, you hold on to this situation and just ride who's hot.
Levi seems dead. I mean, I'm starting to get scared. He looks, but with goalies, you can't ever say that. Like I know I'm being fanatical where I'm like, he seems dead. I say that all the time. With players that they have one injury or one bad year, I'm like, oh, they're dead. But I know goalies are a different breed, but he's struggling down there. From all reports, he's having a rough time, and that would be really, whatever. With this team's really good. We don't have a lot to complain about anymore. But for Levi to not pan out,
that would hard for a first round pick then.
Yeah, that would feel really and that first round pick, was that not the kid we just traded yesterday?
Neuchev? I don't know.
But
I don't know offhand.
But it would feel very disappointing. Whatever. I'm not in the mood to talk about Devin Levi today. This team is great. I think they're great. I think they're one of the couple games, like again, what was the game? Was it Carolina where they got a little bit out muscled and lost that game, and it kind of felt like a game where like, oh, they're right below that tier, of like they're not going to be able to win those tough games. Now they've won a couple of them too through this process, but I worry just still about their like grittiness and toughness. And how they can add to that. This team needs a Tom Wilson on the first line. That's the player. And again, he's kind of a unicorn because he's a 25, 30 goal scorer and physical and a Brady Tkachuk, one of the Tkachuk boys. I mean, that's kind of like what this team needs, but they're unicorns. I mean, you can't just go get one of those guys. And that's where I really am struggling finding whether or not this team will be good enough to win playoff series. And now we're there, right? Like, I mean, we were just like, let's just make the playoffs. Let's just be in contention in February. But now I'm like, all right, this team's good. How are they going to win a 7-game series? And I'm still not overly confident that they can do that.
Quick update. That draft pick was Yuri Kulik.
And he is dead. I think he actually was on my cruise, and we had to go back to Miami for a medical emergency. Yeah, okay. Well, Kulik, yeah. I mean, he could work out still. Has anyone said anything in months? Am I wrong in hearing an
they
update?
Updated he's still on the blood thinner treatment. I think the clot is gone, but the treatment continues and he can't take contact on blood thinners. So he is not in any kind of practice shape. I think they are still hoping that he can get back at some point this season.
Is he good enough to crack this roster right now? Like if he comes back to being who Yuri Kulich was last year, even, is he good enough to crack this current roster? I don't think so. And that's crazy
right
to say.
No. The wonderful thing, though, is after a medical thing like this, you can just let him go to Rochester for a conditioning and rehab assignment for the rest of the season. And you worry about him when you start getting into the off-season talk. Unless they just started unloading their bottom 6 guys and fill them in with the Danforths and the Dunns and the Greenways, who are getting healthy and coming back, then he'd probably be good enough to be on this roster. But right now, it's going to be a log jam after the Olympic break.
Yeah, until Tage breaks his leg in the second game of the fucking Olympics, and we're like, this is another horrible thing about this year. Like the one thing I was like, okay, Olympics, NHL players back, Sabres are gonna suck, but at least we're gonna have our boys in the Olympics. We'll have something to root for. And now I'm like, I don't want them to go. I don't want them to play. Keep them all out. I'm gonna be on pins and needles watching Tage every time he gets hit, and Olympic hockey is a lot more physical than NHL. Like they come to play in these tournaments, so I'm excited for it though. I know we said we were going to talk about it. I don't know if you guys got there this episode, but definitely next episode will be right around the time where it's going to get going, and I'm excited. I'm excited to go out for some 4 a.m. games. There's got to be a bar that will open. The Jolly Jug. Will the Jolly Jug be open for some 4 a.m. USA versus Kazakhstan games? Because I'm in for it. I'm here. We're gonna go. We're gonna do a live podcast from the Jug at 4:15 a.m. on a Monday.
Louie is going to be doing that. The solo pod. He didn't tell us yet.
He's still going to be on the cruise ship. Yeah, that was where we were going to wrap things up in this last, week and a half before the Olympics start? 2 weeks, week and a half. What we're kind of hoping, if we're hoping for anything going into it, and anything that we're looking to get out of it. We touched on it a little bit earlier, but did you have any thoughts about that, Lou?
No, I mean, I just want them to sorry, someone's calling my phone. My room phone. No, I health is the biggest thing at this point, especially for the stars that will be playing in those games. So that's really all I'm trying to get out of this. I don't want them to go into, if they could go into this with a streak being the best team in hockey in the last 3 months. That's how I want to end it, because they have been. What is the date? No, I think it's November 15th. They're the best team in hockey. I would like for them to finish, into the break as that, and stay healthy during the Olympics. I'm going to be ecstatic watching it, but I don't want anybody getting hurt. Good thing we don't have too many stars.
Here's what I'd like to see going into the break. The Tuck trade before the freeze, the roster freeze. That's very ambitious. I doubt it's going to happen, but why not? Come on. He's made an AHL deal, so he knows how to push the phone button. So, let's see another deal here, a real deal.
That was actually Jarmo Kekalainen calling Lou's room to see if he would take Alex Tuck on the cruise.
And I am going to go take
Olympic
that
break.
Enjoy the rest of your show. See you guys. I'm going to go talk to Jarmo, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
All right. See you, Lou. we're gonna wrap up, but incredible job by Lou, just rolling in and just saying everything that we said.
Hey, listen, he's on the same page as us, so that's good.
I mean, consistency is key, I guess. I would love to see that Tuck trade before the Olympics. I would love to see some kind of move to let things go. What we're thinking going forward. That AHL trade has me ponderous for what's going on with like Connor Timmins and his injury return window, because it looks like that means Metza's staying up long term, and they have Zach Jones sitting in the press box right now in case somebody else gets hurt. And if Timmins isn't going to be back after the Olympic break, I think they need to do something for a third pair defenseman, because Bryson and Metza have done great in what they've been asked to do, but I can't have two defensemen that don't average more than 10 minutes on the ice with the top four just getting beaten night after night, especially with the condensed schedule. So that's something I'm hoping for going into or coming out of the Olympics, just kind of sorting out the rest of the season defense.
That might actually,
any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think that might be a sneaky piece in a Tuck deal, right? Is a six pair, a third pair defenseman, top six guy, just depth for playoffs, or even just splitting some of those games, like you said. Yeah, I think it's a need. We talk about wanting to make sure that your whole roster is filled out. So, I think you're going to want to probably stabilize the back end a little bit more. So I wouldn't be surprised if they move Tuck to try and consolidate one of those pieces, in addition to, perhaps either premium picks or prospects, would be a young or even just an established defenseman that can play a handful of minutes for you.
Yeah. Any final thoughts as we head out today?
No, I think, this is a fork in the road, so to speak, as far as, where the Sabres going to go. And so I'm really excited to see what Jarmo does here, because this is going to be, the tinkering and the roster construction between now and, the trade deadline, which is March, I think early March this year.
It's early March. It's like 2 weeks after they come back from the Olympics. So it's a real tight window with that roster freeze in the middle.
Yeah. And so that's why I think maybe we start to see, I know the insiders talk about it every year, this is the year we're going to see action, but maybe this is a year that you start to see some of those deals trickle in before the freeze, because then the teams can get everything set, right? To going out and making that second deal if you're the Sabres. So, I think the likelihood of a re-signing is low at this point, but we'll see. And yeah, let's just hope to see the continued, success, all four lines contributing, secondary scoring, and solid goaltending. But whoever's out there, that's what I want to see next couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure. I think that wraps it up. I think we've hit all of the necessary topics today. We even got a little Lou adventure in the middle, where thank God he didn't buy the alcohol package on the cruise.
Yeah, he's going to check his tab.
He would
85 he could have spent. I wonder what it was last night.
Yeah. Well, this has been From This Point Forward. I'm Chris, along with Ryan. Lou was here. We'll see you in 2 weeks, getting ready for the Olympics.